4,600 years ago, before machines, before modern engineering, humans built something impossible.
Over 4,600 years ago, an estimated 25,000 workers dragged 2.3 million stone blocks into the Egyptian desert. They built the Great Pyramid for Pharaoh Khufu, engineering what would remain the tallest structure on Earth for most of human history. The sheer mass is staggering. Some of the individual stones weigh up to 50 metric tons, and yet the precision of the construction rivals modern engineering. The base covers roughly 7 New York City blocks and is leveled to within a single inch. The 4 sides align perfectly to the compass coordinates, thousands of years before the compass even existed. This papyrus scroll is exactly the kind of document you'd expect to find from the civilization that built it. Ancient Egyptians were meticulous record keepers. We have intact rows of hieroglyphs detailing their daily tax records, their supply chains, and even receipts for donkey feed. But we have zero documentation on how they actually stacked millions of tons of rock 147 meters into the sky. No architectural plans, no mechanical drawings, and no blueprints for the Great Pyramid have ever been discovered. Without original instructions, scientists are trapped in an escalating forensic investigation. They are forced to reverse engineer an ancient megastructure, testing theories that start with basic human labor and ultimately stretch into radical automated physics. If you need to move something heavy to a high place, the most intuitive method is to drag it up a ramp. For centuries, most Egyptologists agreed builders constructed a massive rubble slope on the exterior of the pyramid to haul stones into position. Look at the math for a standard 2-ton block. To move this without a pulley, human mechanics require a highly specific, gentle slope. Engineers calculate that human efficiency peaks at an 8% incline. Anything steeper and the cardiovascular demand becomes lethal. Maintaining that safe 8% slope all the way to the 147-meter peak creates a severe geometric problem. The required ramp would stretch for over a kilometer into the desert. Building it would require roughly 3 times as much stone and material as the pyramid itself. To solve the volume problem, theorists proposed a corkscrew ramp. Instead of a single straight driveway, a spiraling road would hug the sides of the pyramid, growing upward and eliminating the massive footprint. But the corkscrew fails an entirely different logistical test. Every corner of the Great Pyramid must maintain a strictly measured 51.9-degree angle. A spiraling ramp physically blocks the surveyor's sightlines from the base to the top, making it impossible to check if the edges are actually straight. Because these simple exterior ramps fail physically by requiring too much material, or geometrically by blinding the architects, modern engineers realized they had to abandon the outside of the pyramid entirely. In the late 90s, an architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin realized the lower levels could be built with a short exterior ramp, but high altitudes required an entirely new mechanism. He proposed the ancient builders dismantled the base ramp halfway through construction and used those blocks to build from the inside out. To lift the massive 50-ton granite beams required for the king's chamber, Houdin looked at the Grand Gallery, a towering, narrow corridor inside the pyramid. He calculated that heavy carts on wooden rollers could slide down the gallery's internal stone benches, acting as a massive counterweight system to pull the heaviest granite blocks up an opposing ramp. Once the heaviest stones were set, workers constructed the remaining upper layers by dragging standard blocks up an internal 7% incline ramp. This tunnel simply zigzags up the perimeter, just a few meters inside the pyramid's smooth outer faces. Navigating an internal ramp creates a massive bottleneck at every corner. The corridors were less than 3 meters wide. To maintain the flow of stones, builders needed large, carved-out open rooms at the end of each straightaway, where crews could stand and physically pivot the 2-ton blocks for the next flight. And there is physical evidence for this. 83 meters up the exterior face, there is a previously unexplained open notch carved into the stone. Its location corresponds exactly to where Houdin calculates one of these internal corner pivot rooms should exist. Houdin's mechanics solve the material constraints of an exterior ramp, but the internal zigzag is an incredibly complex operation. The difficulty of turning millions of stones in cramped tunnels pushed scientists to look for a way the Egyptians could outsource the heavy lifting entirely. Today, the Giza Plateau is kilometers away from water. But in 2024, deep soil coring and satellite radar identified a dried-up, buried branch of the Nile River that used to flow directly up against the pyramid construction sites. This proximity immediately offers a more efficient explanation for the site's logistics. The builders likely used the river to float millions of heavy stones horizontally from distant quarries right to the foot of the pyramid. But a controversial peer-reviewed study takes this further, arguing the Egyptians used this water to move stones vertically. This theory draws on discoveries from the earliest Egyptian pyramids, where researchers found evidence of sophisticated dam structures and underground stone conduits designed to collect and manage massive volumes of rainfall and floodwater. By capturing this water behind stone dams, builders could create enough pressure to surge through the underground conduits and into a vertical shaft within the pyramid. A floating wooden platform inside the shaft would carry the stone. By opening and closing stone valves at the base, a technology observed in simpler form in earlier irrigation systems, crews could raise and lower the platform like an elevator. This hydraulic system could autonomously lift massive stones up to 17 meters high, requiring a fraction of the human physical labor that traditional ramps demanded. Harnessing geological water pressure to lift millions of tons is an incredibly elegant solution. The problem is that currently, no central vertical water shaft has ever been found inside Khufu's pyramid, leaving the automated theory highly debated. Egyptology's leading figures argue that Khufu's pyramid simply lacks the structural hardware required to manage highly pressurized water. Ramps, whether internal or external, remain the dominant theory because ramps are actually found at other Egyptian excavation sites. To address the engineering blind spots left by the missing blueprints, researchers escalated their investigation from structural theory to subatomic particle physics. By tracking cosmic rays known as muons passing through the rock, scientists can X-ray the solid mass of the pyramid. In 2017, this technology produced an extraordinary result. Deep within the center of the Great Pyramid, entirely sealed off from any known corridors, the muon scans detected a massive, unexplored void. Some archaeologists suspect this void is purely functional, a gap built to relieve pressure so the lower chambers wouldn't collapse. Others think it could be the housing for Houdin's Grand Gallery counterweight system, and some hypothesize it is the true hidden burial chamber, holding Khufu's actual mummy and unplundered treasures. We still don't know exactly what is inside that void, or how the stones surrounding it were lifted. While the physical plans for the structure remain lost, the Great Pyramid is finally surrendering its internal architecture to the probes of particle physics.
The Great Pyramid is still hiding its secrets.